I have seen many manifestations of evil, and exorcism is the only cure for one who's truly demonically possessed.
Exorcisms, according to the Encyclopedia for Psychology and Religion, is the ritualistic expulsion of malevolent spirits inhabiting body, brain, or place. Exorcisms have been practiced in no specific form throughout history. Exorcisms are thought to be the primal prototype for psychotherapy. Exorcisms have occurred throughout history as far back as biblical times. Throughout the presentation, I will present multiple accounts within different time periods that give insight to the growth and development of exorcisms. This will include times such as Biblical era, Ancient Mesopotamia times, the Middle Ages, the first televised aired exorcism, and lastly exorcism/psychotherapy in modern times. Exorcisms have occurred throughout history as far back as biblical times. In this instant, there are Bible verses that tell about Jesus Christ exorcising individuals by a simple command. These can be found in Mark chapter 1, verse 23 through 26, Mark chapter 9, verse 14 through 29, and Luke chapter 11, verse 14 through 26. One example of this would be Mark chapter 1, verse 23 through 26 states, "Just then, a man in a synagogue who possessed by an impure spirit cried out, 'What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God.' 'Be quiet,' said Jesus sternly. 'Come out of him.' The impure spirit shook the man violently and came out of him with a shriek." The second time period where exorcisms were noted includes 5000 through 3500 BC, which is classified as Ancient Mesopotamia times. During this time, individuals believed that any kind of sickness were brought by evil spirits trying to attack them. There are Assyrian tablets that reference accounts and uses of incantations and prayers to gods that even challenges to demons that can cause both physical and psychological sickness. Ancient Babylonian priests and clergy were known to perform rituals with the sick, and during these rituals they would break and destroy wax or clay images of a demon. The next period of time where exorcisms were noted was during the Middle Ages. During this time, superstition and demonology were taken very seriously. During the Middle Ages, individuals suffering from a mental illness was thought of having been possessed by an evil spirit. The mentally ill were often led to the clergy and were put through torturous techniques such as scourging. The fourth monumental record of an exorcism includes the first exorcism to ever be aired on television. This airing occurred in 1971 in Chicago, Illinois. This exorcism was aired on NBC. The following video shows parts of the experience.
William Darrell Davis and Joseph DeLuise, ministers of the Independent Spiritualist Church in Chicago, agreed to perform without fee an exorcism. That is a ceremony designed to rid something of evil spirits. An NBC News crew was permitted to film the ritual. We were confined with the residents of the house to the living room. Each of us was requested to wear a cross for protection during the exorcism, which was conducted in the dining room. An altar was fashioned, on which were placed candles, a Bible, a crucifix, bread, and wine. At first there were prayers to God, and then the ministers gave each other communion. Reverend DeLuise is a medium, and during the ritual he went into a trance. He described it as a total relaxation of his mind and body, which he says allows him to communicate with spirits. Once he assumed this mental state, we, the spectators, felt a strong gust of wind from an open window that blew the curtains and rattled the Venetian blinds. Shortly thereafter, Reverend Deloise began talking. He claims the spirit used his vocal cords.
Remember, the combination.
Why should it concern you? Can you realize
I
this?
can't figure it out.
Why should
Even though I
it
can't
concern you?
understand it,
Is it important to you?
it's important to me.
Why have you stayed here?
I'm trying to get the number.
In Reverend Deloise's hand was a cross in a mirror which he waved through the air. This was supposedly to show the troubled spirit that it had no reflection and therefore did not exist. Then he apparently came out of his trance and told Reverend Davis to offer the so-called spirit the bread and wine of communion. Then Reverend Davis issued what he called the warning.
Insomuch as this house has been purified, let there be a warning. Or if the house is clean, and it is not replaced with that of soul and with love, then beware the danger 7 times the four which are left shall return. For this moment there is love. This moment there is release, and that which bothers the individual will come from within himself, and not from that which was here.
According to the website Knowledge Notes, to determine if an individual is experiencing a mental illness or a possession is based on numerous things. Some characteristics that are used to determine between the two include ability to speak in foreign tongues that were unknown to the individual before the incident at hand occurred. The second characteristic includes the strength of the person and if it coincides with the strength they should have, or if it's doubled the strength an individual of the same age not experiencing the episode has. The last characteristic that would determine the difference between a mental illness and a possession includes causes that would attribute to distress and allow a possession to occur. Many believe that exorcism in the past was a form of psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is continuously used in modern practices. There are multiple approaches to psychotherapy that include cognitive behavioral, interpersonal, and talk therapy. Psychotherapy is a collaborative treatment based on relationship between an individual and a psychologist. Psychologists today could learn from experiences in the past by correctly identifying the cause of the sickness of the individual. By knowing that exorcisms are common and can occur, but having ability to know the signs between a possession and an individual suffering from a mental illness.